MetaZoo goes bust, Mythic Games is in trouble, and a D&D Legends new video game.
That's insane.
Welcome to Tabletop News Tuesday, our first news rundown of the week. Today, we're talking about MetaZoo, more trouble for Mythic Games, and a new game by one of D&D's biggest names.
Hot damn!
Now remember, if you like these kinds of videos, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so we can keep making them. Now, on to the news.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
The trading card game MetaZoo came to a crashing halt last night with its parent company MetaZoo Games announcing that it was shutting down immediately and then scrubbing its social media platforms and locking down its Discord. It is with a heavy heart that I must announce that, effective immediately, MetaZoo Games will be closing and shutting down all operations, MetaZoo co-founder Michael Waddell announced in a now-deleted post. Waddell blamed the shutdown on logistical and product gridlocks that came out of the post-COVID era, which is weird because MetaZoo just got put into Target. Now, MetaZoo was always kind of a weird project in the ever-growing TCG space. The game's first Kickstarter raised only about $15,000, but it became something of a big player in the COVID-era collector space. The game got a big boost when Steve Aoki joined as a full equity partner and was branded as a co-founder. Now, just last year, MetaZoo announced plans to collaborate with Sanrio on Hello Kitty-themed MetaZoo cards. However, MetaZoo ultimately failed because it was a card game that wasn't really meant to be played. Sure, there was a game that went along with MetaZoo, but there was no real organized play, no tournaments of any real note, nothing. Besides, folks trying to build up hype in an artificial collector's bubble. And that bubble popped, and hopefully no one got left holding the bag except for MetaZoo Games.
I want a full investigation.
In other bad tabletop news, CMON announced that it had purchased the IPs of two unreleased games originally kickstarted by Mythic Games. Now, Mythic Games had raised over $3.2 million to make Hell the Last Saga and Anastyr, but had yet to make either game as the company had focused its efforts on making Darkest Dungeon and Six Siege, which both faced delays and cost overruns due to what Mythic called increases in shipping and production costs. However, CMON said that both Hell and Anastyr needed to be designed basically from the ground up and would take substantial resources to actually finish. Now, the good news in all of this is that CMON promised free copies of Hell and Anastyr to those who backed the original Kickstarter projects. However, all the stretch goals and bonus material, that won't be coming to people. And there's no guarantees that these games will look anything like what was originally promised. Now, Mythic Games obviously is in a heap of trouble. They've been selling off IPs left and right, and there is still one more Kickstarter that they haven't provided any update for in over a year.
Son of a...
Netflix is preparing what are likely the final scripts for The Witcher. While Season 4 of The Witcher is actively in pre-production and the show is set to film Season 4 this March, Redanian Intelligence reports that the writers' room is already working on Season 5 so that Netflix can film both seasons back-to-back. Although we've been pretty down on The Witcher in the past, we do like that Netflix is preparing 2 seasons worth of scripts so the show and its fans can get the closure they need. In other Witcher news that we forgot to talk about earlier, Lawrence Fishburne, yes, Morpheus, was cast as Regis, a member of Geralt's eventual company. So, we can look forward to that in Season 4.
Good news, everyone!
Netflix is also making some changes to its Avatar the Last Airbender to deal with the challenges of live action. In a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly, showrunner Albert Kim revealed that the show would not really talk about Sozin's Comet, the celestial body that supercharges firebenders and served as something of a ticking time clock for Aang over the course of the original show. In a recent interview, Kim explained that they removed the comet from the show because they didn't want to force their avatar into a set time frame. We removed that particular ticking clock from our show for now because we couldn't know exactly how old our actors would be for the subsequent seasons, Kim told EW. We definitely thought about that going into Season 1 so that we can accommodate for puberty, adolescence, time passing, all those fun things that happen to real-life human beings that don't happen to animated characters. Of course, This doesn't mean that the comment won't eventually be a major plot point, it just won't drive the characters in the first season. We will see Avatar the Last Airbender come out on Netflix next month.
Can't wait.
And finally, a fantasy world created by Ed Greenwood is the focus of a new video game. Spearhead Games has released Unforetold Witchstone, a new CRPG sandbox-style game set in the world of Calsundia. Now, Calsundia features world-building, quote, by Greenwood, who is best known, of course, for creating the Forgotten Realms. Now, we don't really know what exactly Greenwood did. He at least contributed some lore to the game, but we don't know if he just took some framework of what the game developers had in mind and kind of fleshed it out, or if he created the world from scratch. We just don't really know. Now, and notably, this Unforetold game has a reactive influence system that shapes the world of the game based on the choices that players make, which sounds a little bit like, how a D&D world is supposed to work. Now, so far, Unforetold has received mixed reviews on Steam, but it's still early, and it's at least worth checking out.
It is acceptable.
Well, that's all the news that we have for today. Let us know what your favorite story was in the comment section.